Solutions Review is on location at Commvault GO in Nashville, Tennessee. Brought to you by Commvault.
We are back at Commvault GO 2018, and we are here to talk about a trend that's happening across all of technology and has been for a long time, but is now really moving toward what has been traditionally software and hardware solutions, and that's a software as a service approach. We're here with Rao, who is the general manager for software as a service at Commvault.
Yep.
And you were just announcing the new as a service solution that Commvault has released.
Yeah, so I run the software as a service as well as the service provider businesses, and I need to emphasize that because the service providers are going to be an important distribution channel for us, right? Even no matter how much you simplify the software, you still need a human to sort of make things right at the customer side, right? So if you kind of look at how the market's sort of evolved over the last 5 years or so, the hypercloud guys are now ready to take on tier one solutions, right? The mission critical products. The problem with any sort of infrastructure as a service or infrastructure on-prem has always been, from a migration perspective, that all the tools around the applications also have to move to that, right? You can't just put the application there and not have protection, not have security, not have policy, not have management and things like that, right? And this comes from the last 10 years. I've been struggling at different infrastructure companies trying to get the ecosystem moved over, and when we talk to all the hypercloud providers, backup is one of those key critical, data protection is actually one of those key critical components that need to become native to the cloud for them to start taking on tier one enterprise applications. And that's the problem space that we are trying to solve here. Okay. Now, having said that, everything that's being consumed from the cloud today is kind of in a SaaS mode. What does that really mean? It's use case driven, not necessarily feature, right? It's outcome driven. What they're buying is an SLA, right? And it's kind of on a pay-as-you-go mode. It's not like make a huge CapEx purchase on day one and then sort of consume it over time. It's kind of like a pay-as-you-go. And that's the evolution that Commvault needed to make, and we've done that, and our customers have pushed us there, and our infrastructure partners, Microsoft, AWS, all of whom you heard at the show, have pushed us there, and we are the preferred solution on most of these platforms right now. What we announced at the show is the early preview version of infrastructure backup, which is basically protection of AWS VMs natively in AWS, stored in AWS in a SaaS mode. It's in preview right now. We are taking customers. If anybody is interested, there's the contact Commvault email on the website, and we'll provision you inside. That's going to be in preview mode for about 4 weeks, and then we'll GA through the AWS marketplace first. Now, this is only the beginning of a portfolio of SaaS solutions. First, there'll be infrastructure backup, then hybrid of on-prem assets into the hypercloud, and then applications such as Office 365 and SharePoint and Salesforce and others that's coming before the end of this year. That's the major announcement that we made.
Well,
Dev Forest.
I gotta believe this opens up a whole new market for you.
It absolutely does. Not just the enterprise, but also mid-market and below, because it's all about simplicity, right? When you do get to take a look at the solution, you'll find out that any backup infrastructure takes months of planning, months of deployment, months of testing. It's basically brought it down to like about 15 minutes, right? Click, and you're up and using it with about 2 decisions to make, and one of that is where do you want to put your backups, right? What account you want to put it up in, and what are your credentials? It's as simple as that. 20 years of experience, 15 minutes.
Well, and it's also, it's reflective of the cultural changes happening in the enterprise as well, right?
Absolutely.
Where people are
absolutely
wanting to buy these traditional solutions in a pay-as-you-go model.
Right. And it's all about simplicity, right? It's not about the wow factor of all the features. It's about how simple you can make it. Can you provide that instant gratification from click to use?
Well, and I think also allowing the back end, updates and so forth to be happening in effectively real time, without any need to go through refreshes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
which is it's the future of
It's the
of
future
all
of
software.
technology anyway. In general.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you've just announced it.
Yeah.
And as you start to roll it out, are there any particular markets that you see yourselves, getting traction in? Are you going to try to get down a little bit lower into the mid-market quicker?
We are. This is primarily targeted at both the enterprise and the mid-market, right? So the historical problem with any data protection solution has always been the expertise that goes behind it, right? The disk configuration and the network configuration and so on and so forth. Now that we have simplified it, it sort of opens up a big, huge market space for us. The model that we want to get to is, as the customers are making the decision on where do I purchase my VMs and where do I provision my VMs, it's almost like, do you want fries with that kind of a model, right? And it's not about, do you want fries with that, you need backup with that, and here's a click and it's provisioned along with your VM. That's the model we are trying to get to, which effectively opens up a whole lot of market space for us that Commvault hasn't traditionally been in. So we are really excited about that. Okay.
I can imagine, and with partners like AWS and Microsoft,
Yep.
and I mean they're going to help in that sales
Absolutely.
cycle.
Absolutely, and it also helps them because now it helps them bring production workloads onto their platform as well, which has been the primary goal for them for the last year or so, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really interesting new development. We're certainly interested in hearing more about it as you roll it out. I know it's a new offering and a pretty large change culturally for the way Commvault has gone to the market.
It is. It has been, and we have evolved over the last year. As we have evolved our pricing models, our billing systems, everything is now API driven, so we can start connecting into different marketplaces from all the major distributors, right? The collections mechanism, on the back-end self-service support, communities, all of that has evolved at Commvault. And if you go to our website, you can see a whole bunch of that coming alive, like starting date for yesterday. So it's
Amazing.
An exciting time.
Well, great. Well, thanks for coming
you.
by and telling us about it. We certainly wish you the best of luck with the rollout for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
Thanks.
having me.